Thank you for the introduction, and thank you to the organizers for the opportunity to be here. I'm going to present the results from a rapid cycling genomic selection program on maize land races. So first, I want to give you a short introduction to the material that we are using in this experiment, and to give you also a brief overview on some previous research done by our group on the importance of land races. So 35 European land races were collected and were analyzed at a molecular and a phenotypic level. And this meant a huge effort and laid the foundation for a long-term research. But now one of our main interests in land races is to bring novel diversity into a breeding program. And we did prove that these land races had novel variation, novel alleles that were absent in elite breeding lines. But now the question is, or the issue is to reduce the performance gap to the breeding material to make this diversity available. And to address this issue, we designed a selection program, a pre-breeding program, using genomic selection over several cycles. And we pre-selected 2 of these land races and developed a DH library. And this DH library was the foundation for this selection program. So the DH library was composed of 419 individuals, which were part of the training set now. And only one of these land races was used to start the selection program to avoid confounding with population structure. So the selection scheme consists of 3 cycles of genomic selection followed by recombination, and here the definition for a cycle is a unit of selection and recombination. And selection was performed based on 3 traits: biomass yield, which was under directional selection, and final plant height and female flowering, which were under stabilizing selection. Genomic estimated breeding values were calculated for these traits and were combined in a selection criterion. Here, through this selection criterion, we applied a restriction for genotypes which had values for GBVs for plant height and female flowering, which were far from the mean. In the first selection step, we selected 10 out of 200 DH lines, and those were recombined in a half diallele crossing scheme. In the next 2 selection cycles, in each of them, 40 genotypes were selected out of around 1,000 heterozygote genotypes, only based on the genotypic data, and those were again recombined. So in a later step, the H lines were developed from each of the cycles as a sample to represent these selection cycles. And those were evaluated as test cross performance with the then tester F353 in field trials together with 7 commercial hybrids. And all the material was evaluated together in the same field trials, which allowed a direct comparison between the groups. And we had 7 environments across 2 years, and as you can see, the heteroabilities are pretty high. So the research objectives that I'm going to present today are to quantify selection response for biomass yield over 3 selection cycles, to assess the performance gap to commercial hybrids, and to evaluate prediction accuracy and the possibility to increase this prediction accuracy through model retraining. And the results that I'm going to present are part of a publication that is currently under revision. So to evaluate the molecular differentiation across cycles, we perform a PCOA analysis. Here, depicted here, we can see the initial populations and then the DH populations and the heterozygote populations within each of the cycles. And the first principal coordinate explains 52% of the total variation in the data. And if we go along this first axis, we see a big differentiation step between the initial population and the first cycle, and then followed by a smaller differentiation to the next cycle, so between C1 and C2, and even a smaller differentiation step between cycle 2 and cycle 3, mainly explained here by the second principal coordinate. From here, we can also compare the relative position of the heterozygote populations and the DH populations within each of the cycles. And since the DH populations are a sample from the heterozygote populations, we would expect allele frequencies to be the same and them to overlap. We see some deviations from this expectation, mainly due to sampling error. To evaluate the response to selection, we evaluate the response to selection based on the DH populations, based on the test crosses from these DH populations. And here we can see the different clouds for the different DH populations in the different cycles. And we see the performance for biomass yield and dry matter content of these DH populations compared to the 7 commercial hybrids, including also some checks for grain yield. We see that the cloud representing the DH populations moves up, approaching the commercial hybrids for biomass yield. The change in biomass yield in the mean was significant across all cycles, and we see the biggest step in the first selection cycle. This led to a reduction of the performance gap from 23% in the initial population to 16% in the last selection cycle. And we could also identify here under the DH lines derived from cycle 2 some top-performing test crosses, which could be good candidates for a bridging program in a next step. So now the prediction accuracy in this case represents the correlation between the predictions of the DH populations based on the initial training set with the adjusted means from the field evaluations. We see high prediction accuracies in the initial population as expected, and we see a big decrease after the first selection step. This for all traits. For the trait that is not under selection, we see a steady decrease across all selection cycles. And for the traits under selection, we see a different pattern. Here we see that prediction accuracy decreases until cycle 2 and then increases again in cycle 3, or decreases until only after the first selection step and then remains constant. So retraining allows the possibility to increase this prediction accuracy by incorporating information from further selection cycles into the training set. And we tested that and obtained positive results for most of the cases. So this opens the door for increasing the prediction accuracy and improving the selection response through good design for model retraining in the selection scheme. So I think overall, these results show that rapid cycling genomic selection is an effective strategy to accelerate pre-breeding in land races. we could reduce the performance gap, and we could also identify some top-performing test crosses which were comparable in performance to commercial hybrids. And moreover, an efficient retraining strategy can boost the prediction accuracy and improve the response to selection. And with that, I want to thank my group from the chair of plant breeding at the Technical University of Munich, my supervisor, Professor Schön, and developing all this material, especially from land races, meant a huge effort. So for that, I want to especially thank also our partners from KWS in Germany. And I want to thank you also for your attention.